I'd like to call to order the January 11th, 2023 Fountain Conservation Commission meeting at 7:01 PM. Can I have a roll call, please?
Joan Savoy present.
Colby Streeter present.
James Gates,
Linda Mack present.
this meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Okay, Chairman's additions and deletions. We will be continuing 1.5 review and approve the meeting minutes 12/14/22 to 1/25/23. And also continuing 3.7, approve, deny purchase of several clothing items for Conservation Commission, from Conservation Commission clothing budget. We need to vote on that. No, No, we're good.
No. Okay.
Oh, no, you're deleted. Yeah,
We're
I
just,
think you're okay.
we're not even continuing, we're just voting it. Chair report. On the following dates, I made site visits and took pictures as documentation to the rail trail behind 158 Main Street to monitor siltation movement. Following dates 12/17/22, 12/21/22, 12/22/22, 12/31/22, and the 1/11/23. On 12/21, I dragged some of my coworkers out there and we shoveled out the culvert. And the reason for the follow-up visit on the 22nd was that the siltation had filled the pipe 3/4 of the way, 3/4 up. Pretty much the same as it was, and Jessica has pictures for when she does her report. So, and then 1.5, 1.6 agents report.
Dates covered December 12th, 2022 to January 6th, 2023. Building permit, interdepartmental signatures for 237 North End Road, 88 Lunenburg Road, 1 Princeton Court. We completed the referral for planning board for 25 Harbor Trace Road and 5 Turnpike Road. Board of Health interdepartmental signatures were done for 12A Meadow Road, for 75 Pierce Road, with a note about recommending an erosion barrier installation during the septic tank replacement. 8 Balsam Drive, 86 Turnpike Road, and most recently 3 Wheeler Road. They're doing a septic replacement within a wetland buffer, so I noted that they'll need to file. During this time frame, we completed the 10 to 12 Spalding Street certificate of compliance issued on December 19th. We issued a 4 Alyssa Drive partial certificate of compliance on 12/19. And we issued the order of conditions for Harbor Trace water treatment plant and associated water lines on December 28th. Ongoing applications, we have an NOI for 5 Madison Avenue. Our hearing was opened on 12/14. We received DEP comments on 12/12, and then Natural Heritage sent their determination on 12/18. That will be continued tonight. We have an RDA for Squanicook Meadows habitat maintenance that was continued from our last meeting. We have a request for a certificate of compliance for 7 to 9 Riverbank Terrace. And I did an intake on a request for certificate of compliance, 128 Turner Road. But we need to schedule a site visit for that. And I will pause for Pat to
Festival, I'm here. Friday, 7.
Thank you, Jessica.
And other miscellaneous items, I issued a compliance summary report to the applicants of Free Dealer Road. Well, contacted the owner of 158 Main Street on December 12th to request doubling and armoring of hay bales for additional erosion control. We issued an enforcement order on 12/20. Talk about that tonight. Met with town council on 12/20 to discuss the process for proposing changing regulations. And then also to discuss the Elizabeth Drive subdivision expired orders, conditions, and the COCs that are still needed. Attended an MAPC webinar for ecology of riverfront areas on December 14th. Mailed a letter to the owner of 100 Foreign Road about the installation of a potentially unpermitted driveway on 12/28 inside a wetlands buffer and riverfront area. Initiated communication with Alyssa Drive attorney of the builder, which has unfortunately dead-ended already. But we prepared letters to all of the owners back up with Matt's help. For stormwater, more so I visited Blood Road on 12/28, followed and received a complaint regarding driveway expansion that has potentially led to drainage concerns and safety concerns along Blood Road. I received a call about tree cutting within a riverfront area at 539 Main Street. I did drive by on January 5th, but the trees seemed far enough out in the buffer that no further action will be recommended. Stumps were left in. We attended 2 interviews for land use coordinator position, and then with Joan on this one, monitored communication between COMCOM and town departments regarding the cleanup of debris within the wetland buffer at 61 Edward Road. So I'll let you discuss real quick on that.
Okay, Emily has been playing phone tag with the group that she thought could marshal some volunteers to do the work there. So we are still waiting to hear, and I re-offered to get some local people together if all else fails. However, I will say too that she did request the name and phone number of the resident, which I know we don't have the phone number, but to see if there are other services that could be offered, which I thought was very kind of her. So that's where we stand. We're kind of just in a waiting pattern right now.
No real action, but we're still working.
When you said you met with town council about changing regulations, do you just mean wording?
Just how to more so. I have not met with him yet about our actual chapter 150 regulations review. But just how to with changing regulations versus bylaws. So regulations can be done at a meeting with due public notice and public hearing, whereas the bylaw would need to be at town meeting.
Now, does that include proofreading it and adjusting as needed?
Yeah,
Because we haven't talked about
right. I haven't
anything out
done
there.
much more past what we talked about. Yeah, but I would meet with him before. I
Right.
propose
I was
for a
just
formal
kind of-
meeting. Yeah.
So you're meaning all of those basically grammatical changes we made, minor
Yeah,
changes that
Probably
need to be, yeah,
grammatical for
right.
clarity.
yeah, right.
Yeah, just to actually make sure our references are consistent.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, can I say something to someone in the audience,
Yeah,
please?
go ahead, John.
Thank you. Hi. I don't know if that's a service dog. It is, okay. So dogs aren't supposed to be in the building, didn't know, but it's fine. Oh, thank you. Sorry. It looks like a very well-behaved dog.
Yeah.
It's just a big.
Okay.
There you go. That's good to have a team. Thank you.
Can we do Madison Ave early? No, Aaron's on.
Matt, do you know if we can start a hearing 5 minutes early?
We're continuing.
Continued hearing?
We never had the time listed on a legal notice, I think. I think we just picked 7:15 based on past meetings. So I think we should be able to do it a little bit early. As long as the applicants are okay with it. Hello?
Yeah, okay, thanks. Sorry.
Oh,
It's
is my audio okay?
Yep.
good. You sound deathly.
Uh,
And then Aaron's
sorry.
on, and Brandon, are you? Don't apologize. Are you the engineer?
Yes, yep.
All right, so I think Gang's
Are
here.
you
then.
guys okay to start early?
Yeah, absolutely.
Notice of intent or 2.1 notice of intent, DEP number 308-0696, TWD 2022-140, continued from 12/14. Aaron and Wendy Williams, 5 Madison Ave. Proposed project is for an addition to an existing single-family home and enlarged driveway and associated fill and grading. Part of the construction will take place within 200 feet of riverfront area and within the 100-foot buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetlands. We had to continue this because we were waiting for National Heritage for determination, which we received. And their findings are, it will not adversely affect the resource area habitat. It is not a result in a prohibited take. Brandon, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's essentially it. Brandon Ducharme with Dave D. Ross. Obviously, the project was presented and discussed the last hearing, and really we're just kind of waiting to hear back from Natural Heritage. And obviously, as you just said, we've received that letter, and it's a no-take situation. So at this point, not sure if there's any other additional questions or anything that we can provide to you.
I don't think so. We didn't have much. So we need a,
Can I come in real quick?
go ahead.
We did, with Dan and Joe, so unfortunately they're both not here, but with the initial NOI, they submitted the Townsend fee for under the existing single family house application fee. I wanted to discuss with you guys too, if you feel that it's an existing or a proposed resident category for fee purposes. It's kind of like weird,
Right.
it's not an existing house, but it's a new
existing.
build.
It's not adding a new address. It's existing.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's Joe trying to say.
oh, it's a good point, though, it's valid, I get it, I get
So
where you
keep-
could
so keep
see,
it as
yeah,
existing.
yeah,
Okay,
yep.
that works.
That
Because you're
makes
not
sense.
creating a new address, you're
Right.
not.
Yep.
It's just, they're adding on to a building on that lot.
All right, so we're good there.
So they all set, they don't need,
Correct. Yeah, so they paid the existing, we just didn't know if they owed a difference for proposed or not, but we are good.
but Jessica, what is your recommendation for the final?
So I just recommend a standard order of conditions in attachment A. And I don't think there's a need for any special conditions unless you guys have any concerns, but no natural heritage concerns, no steep slopes. They're pretty much on the outer extents of the buffers.
Yep.
So,
If Natural Heritage is good with it, I'm good with it. So I make a motion that we issue the standard order of conditions within attachment A.
Second.
The.
Oh, for
DEP
DEP 308-0696, TWB 2022-140.
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Savoy, yes.
Awesome. Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
Oh, Pat's here now, Linda.
I'll wait for Pat then.
Oh, yeah,
We both said at the same time.
Okay.
all right. So now we need a motion to close the hearing for the,
I motion to close the meeting for the OOC for DP number 3080696, TWB number 2022-140.
Second,
roll call vote.
Savoy, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Joel, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
All right. Moving on.
All right, thanks, Aaron and Brandon. I will.
All right.
We'll get the order of conditions signed, and then because Aaron is the applicant, we will send him the hard copy, and I'll send follow-up email directions, but I'll send a PDF to everybody once it's
Okay.
ready to.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Nothing to sign on that tonight, right?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we
Oh,
don't.
it's ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So don't go running.
No one's leaving.
2.2, a little early, so I'm sure Doc McGee
Anything.
won't contest that. Next up is enforcement order 158 Main Street, mailed 12/19/22. We invite Dr. McGee. Front. Yes, please.
Will, pitch that we put in there, that everything was doing real well with that. We have pictures of that and everything. And, the vegetation and stuff that we, did with the hydroseed and everything, all that was doing well. And there's, James was good enough to come over there one day and he found a pipe that was, coming out of there from back at the dentist's office. And, days after that, I think it was a sump pump that functioned there for like a couple of weeks, and she saw me over there all the time checking on it, and all of a sudden that stopped. After that, there was a pipe that reared its ugly head, a 12-inch pipe that all of a sudden it just appeared. It was gushing water continually. That's what's caused us the problem. It comes out of the dentist's office. And if it wasn't for that, everything was going real well, and there was very little sediment going through there, which I think James can testify to that. After that pipe showed up, it's destroyed my property, and that's where all the sediment is. And it said in the thing that you sent me that there was a time there, I think it was 212. It said in that thing that I did not comply with putting the hay bales out, which I absolutely did. And every time I did it, I called Jessica and told her, and I told her that on the phone. She said she agreed that I had done that. Every time I went over there, anytime you asked me that same day or the very next day, I always put hay bales out. I did everything you people asked me. But the whole problem here is that 12-inch pipe that's gushing water. So I was told at one point, the water department said, you know, they should cap the pipe. Eric, the building inspector, he said cap the pipe. So I'm going to introduce him in a few minutes as a friend of mine here. And he provides some expertise here today too. We went over there and had to cut the pipe and everything else was working in the water that was coming out, and we put a cap on it. That lasted for probably like a couple of weeks, and that cut down the water that was coming out of there considerably. But it's an old pipe. What happened is by capping it, it must have broken out someplace, and now it's coming out of there as much as it was before. I mean, I can put as many hay bales out as you want, but I would not put hay bales out there again the other day, because Jessica said if you want to go down more else, that would be good, but hay bales aren't going to stop. Right? You can take it care of. And we've gone to 6 different departments here in town. James has been very helpful. Eric was helpful in several other things, but I just keep on getting passed from one office to the other and nothing is taking place. So I went up to the DOT there, which is just off of 119, there, New Fitchburg Road. And the, Pat was very helpful there, and he came out the next day to look at it. And he said, the only thing we have at our disposal, and our blueprints, it shows that the culverts that are underneath the road, there wasn't not any water coming through that, it's all coming from that pipe. So I was back up to see them, I think 4 different times. Finally he said, I'm gonna give you a number for someone from the head office, which is my boss, and they have better blueprints than we have. All we have is the blueprints for the culverts that are under the road. So I talked to Matt there, and he told me that he would look it up on Friday. And on Monday, he called me back and told me, I think there's 4 different pipes that come out of there. They go under the dentist office that are coming from, you know, maybe it's coming from their pipes. I believe it is. It's a 12-inch pipe. It's a corrugated pipe, a steel pipe, which we had a terrible time getting the cap on. We had to cut it. We're all soaking wet and dirty and stuff. Working in that water. I don't know whether how bad the water is. I know there's stuff that's going through there. It's a contaminant. So anyway, I asked him, that was Thursday. Talked to him.
Tuesday they came.
Yeah, but I talked to him, I think, on Thursday, Friday. I talked to him on Friday,
Monday.
and then I called him Monday, and I asked him if there was any way that he could have someone come out tomorrow, which should be the next day, which would be Tuesday. And he sent 2 guys out. One of them was Mark and one of them was Jeffrey, and they said, I can't believe the damage that's here. This is ridiculous. I mean, look at the water that's coming. So he went over everything, he checked everything and stuff. And he said that he was going back to his boss and he was gonna have the boss come out here. He said what they're gonna do is pull the cap off and put a camera and follow that pipe up and tell where the pipe is going and tell whose pipe it is. So I mean, I've done all this work and I've, you know, been busting my hump to get everything to try to do as much as I could. But I couldn't do any more than I did. And what I don't understand is it's the pipe is coming from the back of her office on my land and dumping onto my land. Why doesn't someone address her? That's where the problem is. The pipe is coming from her property onto mine. If you were my neighbor and I was dumping water onto your land, you know someone would be in a problem.
I
So
agree.
she is the problem, and then nothing has been done to her. I mean, you treat her, the people that have gone in there to see her, they go in there and they treat her with kid gloves and no, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. I went from you to the building inspector, to the Board of Health, to the plumbing department, the water department, and 4 different times up there at the DOT, up to the water department 2 or 3 times, and nothing has happened, you know? I
So
mean,
the town basically said there's nothing that they.
I'm as frustrated as you are,
So they go to the state,
right?
which is the.
So that's the
state-
DOT, so hopefully
Gonna
something's
find
gonna
out.
come
Tell
with
us
them,
where the
and
pipe-
we can find out where the pipe is, and they're gonna do something about it. That's what I hope it's gonna happen.
Stop the water.
So do you have anything else to add?
Yeah.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Nope, my name is Greg Jarvis. I've done landscape construction for 27 years. I've done everything from, you know, waterways to piping to, you know, and worked with conservation many times. The problem is where the water is coming from is, let me give you a scenario. You have a 3-story condo, all right? The pipe bursts on the top floor. Water goes to the second floor, which would be his land. The bottom floor is conservation. All right, you gotta follow the water, follow it up where it's coming from, where is it origin? You know, where is it coming from originally? It's just flowing through his land. So it's almost like it's, you know, to go after and say that it's his problem is, you know, he's a victim too. You know, not only you, as conservation and having that silt run into the land. He's a farmer and he's trying to keep his land from getting soaked in, and there's nothing you can do. I've been down there and seen he's dug holes to put fence posts in. They fill up with water immediately. That water's been running through there a long time and it's been soaking his land. So it's kind of like, you know, yes, it's been a problem for a long time, And yes, all of a sudden, he wants to get his land workable, which he has every right to do. But this problem coming from up above is where it's the origin, is where it's coming from. So I mean, he's bent over backwards to try to do what he can to slow it down and to stop it. But the problem is above him, you know, just
It's
like
all
the
coming from
third
there.
floor. I mean, a pipe burst third floor, it's going through his land and going to the wetland.
It's amazing the amount of water comes out of a 12-inch pipe.
No,
It is, and then now it's coming around. So not only that, because, you know, least resistance.
Right.
We capped it there, and originally they had to do a trench to put the pipe in. That's from construction, and of course, that water's gonna follow that trench, the least resistance. So something beyond, so I guess the next step is to scope that pipe and find out where it's coming from.
And they're willing to do it. Everybody told me that you gotta hire someone to do it and stuff. And they volunteered, they said, we want to come out and scope the pipe. He just gotta get the okay from his boss, you know? And the other thing, all that water's coming underneath there. Her septic system is right in front of the building, okay? That water's coming with it too, you know what I'm saying? I asked when they pushed me over to the Board of Health, I mean, I was on the Board of Health for like 14 years in Malton. I know a little, and I'm not any dummy by any means. And as far as microbiology and stuff and organisms and stuff, I'm well versed in that. I asked him when he was in the office, they're supposed to have a separator. Anything comes off of the chairs there, it's an amalgam separator. That's supposed to be, nothing of that is supposed to go into the septic system. That has to be set up so that it goes into a trap, which has to be monitored. It has to be dumped periodically. It has to be kept on a log. I asked him when he was in there, I says, can you check this? Can you check that? I know that there was a big problem with mold in that cellar of that house because it was a big problem, because I know there was people that worked for her. And if she wasn't allowing anybody to go downstairs because it was that bad, they scraped the walls and they painted it probably, and it looks okay now. He said everything is fine now, but that's not gonna last. I'm gonna coat of paint over that. That's not gonna last. But my concern is there's a lot of hazardous stuff that comes off those dental chairs that's supposed to go into a separate separator. It's supposed to be monitored by the state. And they keep a log and they're supposed to come out and check on it every so often. I don't know how often. I don't believe that that's there either. I think it goes right into the septic system.
so
That should have been checked on.
that's a Board of Health concern. That's not a
Right, I
conservation.
understand,
And
and I
we can
understand.
only comment on things that pertain to conservation.
I got several concerns.
And I understand your frustration.
Right.
We have to keep it within our
Okay.
jurisdiction because we start to wander.
I know, I'm sorry.
We'll be here all night.
Right,
The fact of the matter is that filtration from the swale that you know, have the right to maintain
Right.
under our town bylaws.
Right.
Washed into property that is not yours, it is,
All since the 10-inch
Well,
pipe, just the
but-
12-inch pipe.
and that vegetation that was there prior was slowing it down and filtering it. It is our job as the commission to protect Townsend's wetlands.
Yeah.
And the, our resource areas. So the fact of the matter is the siltation is washed down onto 2 neighboring properties now. And has filled the wetlands area. That needs to be cleaned out. Now, I don't wanna, I wanna figure it out within our town departments and not get the state involved because that just is not good.
Right.
It's
I
not good for
appreciate
the
that.
property owner. It's not good for you guys. I don't wanna
Right.
see that happen. I've dealt with it in the past.
Yeah.
Personally, within our family, it's just not, it's expensive and it's not nice.
I went down there and cleaned it out several times myself, you know, before this pipe arrived. No matter what you do, as long as that pipe is gushing water, nothing is gonna get solved. That's the first thing that gotta be taken care of. That pipe has to be shut off or rerouted or something.
Well,
I have a solution to that here.
This is,
You asked me to.
this is what, just like someone came out and looked at it and that's what the proposal that they would do to fix the swale, so we're, work properly. You get better
I mean-
plans. That was just like when he came and looked at.
I-
So that's your restoration plan?
Right.
You're calling that a restoration plan?
For the next meeting.
Other, okay.
But I mean, that's ruined all the expense and stuff that I've spent there and all the work that I put there. When this pipe came along, it's ruined everything. I mean, you go over there and look at it. It's
We had
it's
someone
terrible what that thing's.
come look at, the damage of the swale and he'd go in and do like.
He could
pipes
solve,
and
he could solve the
stone
situation.
And make it so
And
it filtered and everything,
another big expense.
all it kind of stuff.
It never should have happened when that pipe was taken care of when it arrived. None of this we wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't.
And not only that, that pipe actually dumps onto his land, is on his land. Whoever put it in goes onto his land and goes, who knows where it goes, it can go and turn and go wherever, but it is aiming straight for
Can we keep this?
Yeah.
Okay.
the adjacent
The
property.
exact words of the DOT is the pipe is coming directly from the back of the neck
And-
onto
and-
my land.
With the amount of ledge in that area, I know it's a lot of water.
James? Oh, go ahead, Linda, then I'd like to say something, please.
So I would like us, I've heard everything that has been said, but I would like us to stay focused on what we need to do in that area. And so there's some things that need to be done there. The second thing is that, do we have documentation that you are in agricultural use?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been an agricultural use.
No, I'm not questioning, do we have any documentation? Because we need that.
Official.
I
Official.
filed for 61A. I haven't done it in the past, but I went in and I filed for the 61A.
Recently?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So can you get us the documentation that you're in 61A?
I'm not in 61A at the present because there's a waiting period, and then it'll be put in 61A that the assessor's office said that there'd be no problem and it definitely will go through. So I went in and did that. I hadn't done it in the past because I have the place that I have in Pepperell's on 61A, and I probably should have done it here, but I haven't. But it's always been an agricultural use. There's always been hay cut off of it. And
Okay,
I
so all I'm asking is if you can get us some documentation.
I can show you that I filed for it. Yes.
Okay, thanks. The other is that I want to underscore what James said, is that this problem would not have existed if that work hadn't happened in your field, this problem that we're having. Because the vegetation that was there was doing its job and slowing down the water. And so I just want to reiterate that because I think that's an important point here. And then I couldn't hear clearly if you had gotten someone to draw up a plan for us as to what was going to happen to rectify it.
I have.
Well, there's a written proposal for
From
restoration. Jim Latanzi at Hollis Hill Farm.
So so you've hired Jim Latanzi from Hollis Hill Farm to do the work?
Depending on what goes on here with the state and the damage that's been done there, and it's coming from a pipe, if it's their pipe, they're willing to get involved. So we're waiting to see what comes back from them. But can I go back one step and give you?
Hang on, please, Dr. McGee. James, I'm aware that the rail trail people are here. I'm wondering if we should let them speak.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
As I have some things to say, too, but I'd like to hear.
I want to stay on task because this is an issue with the siltation in the wetlands. It's not an issue of where the water's coming from. It's a matter of
Right.
wetlands, and the resource area has been filled with sand. There's a pipe that goes under the rail trail that is over 3/4 full, and if it does risk breaching if we have a heavy rain, and going and washing out the rail trail, which will wash the area into the wetlands even further. We need to figure out how to move forward, clean up.
Right. And I
wetlands.
believe the rail trail has a suggestion on how to,
Well,
if that's fair.
we could toss around ideas all day long.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a licensed engineer.
I
I
agree.
have a lot of experience in this.
Yep, you do.
No, James is right.
Don't
But I-
have the formal stamp to say this is the way we have to do it.
Okay,
And it's up to Mr. McGee to present the plan from whoever he hires at the next meeting, and then we'll approve it or add to it or whatever.
And we should have some information from the state, I hope, by that time. I mean, can I give you a little bit of history before we go any further here? 14 years that ditch was supposed to be taken care of. The gentleman was paid to take care of it. I bought the property, from
I'm gonna ask, I don't think we need to, thank
It's
you.
not pertinent.
It's not
pertinent
pertinent to
to our
what we're dealing with,
conversation.
but thank you.
We
It's-
understand your
it's not.
frustration. It's.
Right,
We
it's-
had a great dry summer and,
Right,
but we have to figure out how to stop the siltation that's running off of your land into the wetlands and how we're going to mitigate
Right.
or restore the wetlands within reason. Obviously, you can't go
Nope.
way out there, but you have to figure out how to do it.
Do you agree with me, James, that the water stops, that 12-inch pipe, that's gonna stop the sedimentation from going down? Do you agree with that?
Until it rains heavy, and then you're gonna have water coming in from the field like it's designed to, and it's gonna, the velocity of it's going to increase, and then it's gonna go down into the swale and keep washing it. You gotta have some sort of siltation catch.
So the plan,
That's what that plan is.
that's what that
Yeah,
plan.
in
It's
the
not,
lowlands.
it's just a written
Yeah,
scope,
he tells how that he can.
but there are details like how big of detention basin.
Some people do that, he will
Right.
write up the whole,
I-
that was just like his way of saying how he suggested to fix it. So if you guys think that it's a feasible plan, I'll have him come back and give measurements and do all that.
We can't agree to anything until we actually see a plan.
That's fine.
That's fine.
And we could do it, we could do it two ways, in my opinion. I'm asking the commission's their opinion too. Because you're a farm, that weighs heavy on me. You need to work your land. But at the same time, as Conservation Commission, it is our job
I
to
understand.
protect the wetlands and resource areas. That area, that whole section of rail trail is considered wetlands. We have done wetland replication on the backside of your land for the rail trail because of how much water's in there. So it's not just your property filled with water, it's that whole strip, and it's actually a stream, correct?
Yeah.
So, and
It's officially a stream.
Yes.
according to
The
Mass
map,
Map,
on mass, yeah,
but
Yes,
it's,
it is.
right,
that's because the water's been dumping out of the pipe for 50, 60,
Right.
70, 100 years.
right, right.
So,
Well, it hasn't been dumping out until. I think the sump pump disturbed the soil and that changed things, and now all of a sudden this thing surfaced,
either way,
you know,
the-
but.
whoever did the work, or I don't even want to go down there, we gotta figure out how to restore the wetlands. This fixes your problem on your property, but it's the property that rail trail folks lease.
Right.
From, the MTA or MBTA, and then Mass Wildlife land that's beyond that. Because rail trail, I think is 35 feet to the south. From the center line, so. That's, you have to figure out a restoration plan now, if it's either Jim doing it or you hire, an engineer.
Do you have a suggestion for like an engineer that does that? I don't even know who to even.
I don't think we can legally recommend, but there are people in town.
Get up online, like, do I look up like?
Yeah, have a conversation with some people behind you.
Yeah.
They are representatives of rail trail and they wanna work with you,
That's fine.
so that,
I just want to.
Yes, so we can talk about that,
They know everybody.
and if you want to talk about possibility of using some rail trail.
so
Excellent.
I'd like to open it up to the rest of the commission now. I've said what I've needed to. I will try to keep this within our scope and, keep it within a reasonable amount of time, but please.
Yeah, I'd like to get a couple points of clarification if you don't mind. What has changed in the recent past for the flow of water to increase? You said,
That pipe was never there.
So
It wasn't exposed.
It
it wasn't exposed, but it was,
in the middle there was a ditch that probably hadn't been cleaned out for about 20 or 30 years. It was
Well,
pre-
According to
70.
Gary, he said it was 40 or 50 years.
So
But
we
Yeah.
were losing a lot of use of the hayland because the water would always be wet in marshy in those areas. So the whole point was to clear out the brush or whatever, and the swale was supposed to accept the water. And then we'd have drier land. But it was good for about 2 months.
The
And
thing
then
was,
the pipe opened up and then now it's,
before the
it's
pipe
not
opened up,
sustainable.
everything was going the way
Water.
that it should be. Everything was going good. There was very little water going through there.
It's the
The
foundation
vegetation
drain.
was growing back in, but this has destroyed everything. You know,
So,
yeah,
and they-
a whole lot of water was transitioning.
Vegetation
Yep.
work, so the removal of the vegetation.
Opened it up.
disrupted The pipe.
It was
Well,
more.
it didn't disrupt
more
it, it
debris.
cleared it out.
It was more debris than like vegetation. It did have some vegetation, but there was a lot of debris in there over the years that
Okay.
maybe that couldn't sustain the wet land, so
So has-
trees died.
Organic
things fell
matter.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So was the pipe sort of, we know the pipe was clogged with organics.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like,
Yeah,
Because when I blocked it with
clogged.
Barry and you saw me pick the piece
Right,
of
you were
dirt
on
and
the-
I saw it bubbling up and I was like, huh.
And that was just a small pipe.
But
That
I
was
know
nothing
that
to
culvert
what-
that runs under 119, when I drove
Right.
by there Friday night after it snowed, I could see the water starting to come out of the
I
pipe.
haven't had anything come through that underneath.
It is
Nothing
compared to
came
that
through
forage pipe.
Nothing came through that for years.
So-
Now I'm getting some water coming through there, which is
but
minimal.
let's
Let's
keep the
continue.
so can we stay on
the
task?
present, please,
Yeah.
really, yeah, thanks.
But did you have any other points of clarification?
To his point, I don't see how you really stop it without addressing the water. Because it's a full-on stream in the middle. of-
Exactly. That's what,
The wetlands are filled.
But I just want to say something that is, just to clarify to, on 11/6, when I took photos, it wasn't from a pipe up there, it was from a rainstorm that we had.
Right.
So it's not just the pipe, it's also rainstorms that have occurred.
That was minimal. We went, put the hay bales down and cleaned it out.
Yeah, but, so if we back up, the work that was done there created siltation to come down, plus you did work on rail trail property. You opened up, you carved a place out on the left if you're looking towards 119, and on the right, you also dug a ditch. And that was not, that's also on rail trail property. Both of those things opened up water to bring siltation into the wetlands there. So, that's,
Linda, 2 seconds. Hartley, can you do screen sharing, please, for Jessica?
Okay, give me a second here.
Keep going, Linda. I just
okay,
want to
so,
talk over you.
so I just want everyone to understand that, the problem when there was a drought in the summer, there wasn't, there was no rain, so no siltation was coming, but then we had a big rainstorm. And that's when I went out and took photos and said this, this work that was done caused this siltation. So if that land wasn't dug out on the rail trail property, if it was left the way it was, we would not have the problem we have today. So I just want to be clear on what happened and why it happened and where it all started.
That's good. Do you mind just taking a picture of or showing a picture of the outlet of the pipe?
And the siltation is
Just
so.
the
there
outlet
now.
going into the woods. We don't need to go.
can I speak?
Yes, sir.
So, yes, this is true, but what was going on was all the debris and over the years, there was always a swale there. Over the years, the debris had clogged and did what it's gonna do, its damage. So the original waterway started to get slower and slower, and what happened was it started flooding Dr. McGee land. So all of a sudden, his land is getting more and more wetter because the flow is slowing down and soaking into his farmland. So, I mean, do you leave it and let your land get, flooded and so you can't even work it? Or do you try to bring it back the way it was originally with a swale there? So
But that doesn't, it's going on to.
I
another-
understand that part.
You did work on someone else's property, which created a wetland violation, which was a wetland violation.
Well, it created it, and both,
Both.
even.
Yeah.
So that's the outlet of the pipe. That area was dug out to the bottom, to the invert of the pipe prior to that, and had been like that for 2 years. We have to figure out how we're going to clean out the outlet of the pipe as far as we can reach into the wetlands within reason, right?
Yeah.
And then, do you mind finding out of the inlet?
Well, there might not be one. Find it. From today or?
It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is the silt that moves down off your property because of the length, the elevation change, the amount of water coming out of those pipes. Because you don't just have one pipe, you have 3, 4, whatever it is, plus the groundwater coming off the ledge.
Yeah.
Because the ledge is shallow there. It creates this, you can see it here in the picture, this flow. And that pipe, we cleaned it out.
Yeah. I
The
did too,
entire-
sometimes do it.
The entire,
You can't stay ahead of it now.
we had 12-foot shovel in there.
Yeah.
2 sides coming in.
I did too, several times.
3 man-hours to do it. And it overnight, it filled back up. That's the velocity of the water coming through. So,
Can I add one other thing here that we discussed at the last meeting? If you go up and down that rail trail, there's areas when the railroad had cut areas through there. There's a bunch of areas that are through there. Like this area that she's talking about where the water's going through, that they made channels through there for the water to run in there because there was a ditch along the side of where the railroad was. There's several other places that are just exactly what that is. The water is taken in on down there and caused a lot of damage and made that, made a way for the water to go through there. That's etched that air out. I didn't go in there and dig it out.
but that was all stabilized before.
Right, exactly. It was stabilized when we put the swale in. Since we got the 12-inch pipe, everything has been destroyed and it's made this much worse than it was.
Mr. Chair, can I suggest that we just wrap this up because we know what our next steps are and you all are gonna get with the rail trail folks who have plenty of ideas and resources, right, for recommendations?
Yeah.
Joan and Bill? Yeah.
Well,
Is that fair?
no, because how are we going to fix this? Now, I understand Joan and Bill are here to help them with the rail trail property side. As a commission, what are we going to do? Or require for the wetlands to be
We
replicated?
can't do anything until we see their formal plan submission. Is that correct?
Right.
Is that
But what
our
we can-
recommendation?
What we can say, as an example, we want to see how you're going to remove all of the silt that is in there. Those
Thank you.
areas that you cut into, those need to be restored to what they were. That's my feeling. And how you're going to restore the areas, but the siltation needs to be taken out, and I would recommend that it be done by hand. And not have big equipment in there. So those are things you need to put in your plan, so you can tell that to your engineer, to whoever's going to do this, that they need to have all of that on the plan, because we would like a complete plan. That's engineered to scale so that we can actually deal with what's happening there.
Jessica has some
So,
additions.
I mean, since we will also need to ratify the enforcement order as it is, the current recommendation, and this is what we need to amend if needed before we ratify. The restoration plan shall be filed with the issuing authority, Town of Conscom, on or before January 25th, 2023, for the following. Method for temporary swale erosion stabilization. Method for sediment removal and restoration plan for resource areas. And the plan for long-term stabilization of swale to prevent future erosion.
We also need the wetlands delineated.
So
That's part of
this is
the,
where you
Yeah.
guys need to.
The wetlands need to be delineated. Yep.
so the wetlands need to be delineated because that's just standard.
And I would recommend that you get a wetland scientist of some kind or somebody who is experienced in replication and restoration. Because otherwise, we're going to be going back and forth like this, and it's just going to be frustrating for everybody.
I don't see realistically how a plan can be submitted to us before the next meeting, but a scale plan, but a written plan like similar to what you got from Jim is a start.
Right, that would be the plan to fix the.
Well, no, we don't,
Right.
at this point, I don't care about the swale. The swale is a swale. It's the
That they will help us find someone or recommend someone.
First thing to do is remedy that pipe that's doing all the damage. That's the first thing as part of where I. And that's,
Take at the camera and
Hopefully the
see how
state-
far where it's going
Right.
and so that you can
exactly,
fix that part to stop it from.
The only
Exactly.
problem
Water
is if we
coming
get
in.
someone to clean out the wetland, it's gonna keep coming back until it's.
yeah, as long as that pipe's there, we're not gonna be able to do anything.
I would have
So
that
that's
done
gotta be
immediately.
solved. But I'm doing as much as I can, believe me, the time and effort that I put in and taken away from my business to do this, and I haven't had any help, I get from one department to the next department and nothing comes of it. So the best option that I've had is the DOT, and he's supposed to get back to me, and he said he's gonna scope the pipe and find out what's going on, and he's gonna come up with some kind of remedy how to get rid of that. That's what he thinks.
Would recommend then after you get that, have him send us something in writing.
Right.
What he feels should be done.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm hoping that they're gonna step in and, they're gonna say that it's their pipe and they're gonna do something about it.
But that's not gonna fix
Right.
the wetlands.
I know, that's gonna be a,
Filled with
that's gonna be.
2 feet of silt.
It's gonna keep going though if we don't stop
Right.
it.
Yes, and
Okay,
and
but
I
that's
agree,
not
that's a start of the
That's a
long-term
jurisdiction.
plan.
Right.
We need something in the short term, just because the silt has to be, can't leave the property. It has to
Right.
be settled out somewhere.
I don't
Prior
think you
to
can
those
stop it
culverts.
from leaving the property as long as that pipe is gushing. That's it's a river going down through there. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it's horrendous.
Yeah, I went down today, so,
It's horrendous what's going on.
It's an actual stream, Mass Mapper.
yeah.
So yeah, at the same time, you don't want to cut off the water supply because that is what is hydrating, unfortunately hydrating with wetlands along the rail trail. And beyond.
Right, but you have to have some sort of siltation basin
Yeah.
to catch the crap
Yeah.
and let it,
Again, we are fully claiming and aware and honest that we're not engineers here,
correct.
which is why we need to solicit an engineer's help. How about replacement of the hay bales in like concentric, like
Not-
more level?
I don't know if we'll make it, even that recommendation.
Water is gonna.
I'm thinking it for two weeks until we have the engineer.
So, yeah, we just need the engineer's plan, and the sooner we get it, the better. And I disagree. I think an engineer can put something together. James, I do. And it's been going on long enough. It should have happened a long time ago, so. Let's just stick to that, and then we'll continue the hearing until next meeting. Does that sound okay?
No, we have to, well,
What do we have to do?
Then the enforcement order accordingly and then ratify it.
No, I know, but I mean,
Oh,
as far as speaking to Doc McGee about anything else he might need from us, that's more our administrative work we have to do. We have to ratify the enforcement order.
Okay.
So can we end this discussion and then make a motion to ratify the enforcement order
What are the amendments that we will?
with the
we're adding?
amendments? Yeah.
The ones you just read.
So the amendment of just them also needing the wetlands delineated,
Yes. Yeah.
in addition to the other three that were already issued, just for the record.
Exactly.
Method for temporary soil erosion stabilization, method for sediment removal / restoration plan for resource areas, plan for long-term stabilization of swale to prevent future erosion, and we will amend by adding that the wetlands will also need to be delineated in this time before our next meeting.
Yes.
And John McGee will get a written copy of that soon.
Right, yeah, the
Right,
plan,
yeah.
As soon as I get it from the state.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion to ratify the enforcement order that was issued for 158 Main Street. That was mailed on 12/19/22.
second.
Oh.
With the,
No, with the amendments.
with the amendments.
With the amendment that was just said about delineation and
for the enforcement order, that is the latest date by which the commission will need this new plan before, potential fines or whatever. They have
But-
that right.
Who is good? What level of plan are we expecting? Are we expecting Stan Bill's
That's
plan
you guys'
or,
question.
Well,
I mean,
the thing, yeah,
or a,
I mean, I think we can't keep kicking this along. I
Right.
think the more detailed, the better, because we
To
just talked about it.
yeah.
Someone planning to
to
advise us.
scale with everything. Yeah, we need everything on there. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
hand-drawn thing.
it's
Because there's
gonna
a lot
cost.
of-
okay,
money.
so well, that's. Am I picking up my
Okay,
phone?
can I speak?
Yes, sir.
It may be two different things, because you might have an engineer that's gonna take care of the swale, and then someone else will do the other work, so it's not gonna be all in one. One drawing, it's gonna say, he might be able to give you recommendations saying, to get rid of the silt, you gotta do this, or you gotta do that. But more the engineer is gonna go through and say, okay, you need to do this, this, and this to slow this water down to keep any further silt from going beyond. So it might be a couple different. won't be one
Yeah,
drawing.
I think, a wetland consultant for the delineation.
Right, but we also need detailed drawings of how it's gonna be done, and then we're going to need, we also should have a monitoring plan and, timetables for everything also.
Timetables would be proposed in the plan that's due.
And obviously, we all know you're not gonna grow anything in January or
No,
February,
no,
March.
exactly. Can I?
most of April.
Most of April.
Question for guidance. Where is her responsibility where that's coming out of the back of her dentist office that's causing this whole problem? What do I do about that?
I don't know.
Someone should be
That's your-
liable for the responsibility that's caused the problem. That's the whole problem.
That's a civil matter.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Right.
it's not the whole problem. It's a big part of it, but it's not the whole problem.
So we'll get an attorney. Which
We-
I know is
yeah.
awful, but again, it's outside of our jurisdiction, really.
Conservation is on the other.
Yeah.
It's not the whole problem.
So
delineation.
So the
Okay.
other, another amendment.
we have a motion
then,
on the floor. We have a
The
second with the amendments that we discussed.
Including timeframes, right?
Well, if we want timeframes, then we need a new motion. 'Cause that wasn't included in the original.
Linda, didn't you just say timeframes?
I did.
Or James? So I think we should
Timeframes.
add it, so we'll.
Add it to the motion, please. Yeah.
And timeframe to address these four, whatever goals.
Yeah.
affect.
Thank you.
And did we say in the enforcement order to get a professional wetland consultant or engineer? That was in my original letter, but I don't know if you
I
kept
think
that
that's
in
in
the
the
agenda.
letter, but not the enforcement order. Let me look.
It
That was just in the letter, not the enforcement order.
So what did we say in the letter?
The letter was the engineer.
Okay, good.
Enforcement order just says to have a plan.
Right,
prepared by
and
the-
most
add that.
engineers will have someone.
Add
that's-
that in there so that we don't just get a drawing.
Well, no, your letter says we are requiring that you initiate with a wetland specialist or engineer as outlined.
Not
Yeah.
in the actual enforcement
Yep.
order.
Right, so it needs to be. in
Okay,
there.
so we're amend that. Oh,
So the three added sorry, can't talk. Hold on. The three added amendments to the current ones will be to have the wetlands delineated, to have the timeframes to address these action items, and then to have the plan prepared by a professional engineer and or wetland scientist.
Yeah,
what about the culvert? Cleaning it out.
well, the removal of silt is part of the whole plan, right, James? But do you
Yes,
want it cleaned out beforehand? Is that what you're saying? Or?
I'm concerned, as I know, the rail trail, they're concerned with breaching of the culvert if we have a heavy rain.
Yeah. Yep,
It should be cleaned out and it should be kept within reason. Clean. Unfortunately, it's gonna fill right back up. So I guess just monitor the flow.
so, continued monitoring and cleaning out of the pipe, okay. We can add that, I think that's good. Because otherwise, it could wash out the whole rail trail. Right there, yeah.
We have a motion, we have a second, or we need a re-motion, re-second.
I think we should
Just do it
remove.
again.
Please re-motion, please second it.
Do you want me to make the motion again? Is that what you're
You
saying?
need to rescind your motion and resubmit.
I'll rescind my motion and I'll resubmit the motion with the 4 additional attributes for the enforcement order.
It's 4. Okay, a second.
Roll call vote, please.
Savoy, yes.
Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
So we're gonna continue this to the next meeting. Fortunately, we're gonna be friends for a little while, I think. And
Hopefully, I don't want it to be any different. The whole problem has been that 12-inch pipe. That's been the thing that's killed.
Is it-
Everything was going good.
Should I email stuff to you, Jessica, if I get?
Yeah, that would be
Should
great.
I just forward stuff to you?
Yeah, I think at this point, just given because we're at an enforcement order, I think
Right.
keeping communication right
Sure.
is probably just better
Perfect.
for everybody.
Yep, no
Yeah.
problem. It'll just be it'll be me, not,
Okay, yeah.
but I can understand, but it'll be me.
Thanks for coming in.
thank you.
Thank you.
Which I wasn't here.
I know. And I- it's-
If it wasn't for that pipe.
You're not alone.
Folks that are gonna walk out with you.
Yeah, we followed.
Thank you.
Bye now.
So-
Thanks, John.
Jess, did I just hear you're going to redo the enforcement order and resend it to them?
Yes,
Okay,
you'll sign the one that I provided in there
okay.
tonight. Yeah. Wrong,
Moot.
yeah. I will revise it,
Yeah,
redate it, and
Okay.
then I'll get copies in the mailbox for you guys.
yeah.
Soon.
Maybe in the cover letter, say, refer to this meeting and the additional things that we asked for, and also put them in the enforcement order. Just so it's in 2 places, he doesn't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, if, from a legal perspective, cover letters are great, but everything needs to be in the enforcement order.
Exactly, which is why I said you should put it in the letter and the enforcement order.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on you guys' email for that, please.
Whew. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, thank you. So your town government at work.
I was gonna say, I don't think mine's gonna be nearly as complicated. I feel so sorry.
We're all volunteers too.
Well, so 2.3, appointment with, I assume, 100
Yes.
Warren Road.
Yes.
Regarding potentially unpermitted work in the riverfront area in less than 100 feet from bordering vegetation. Wetlands. And then
Then I will drive where it has.
it's the edge.
I measured it. Like 90 feet.
So. Okay.
Jessica will be right back. She's our
You wanna wait
agent,
for her? Okay.
if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Keeps us out of trouble.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do with Bell, so.
You didn't fill the wetlands with silt, so. Or so
No,
good.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
I don't think mine's as complicated.
They're conferring.
So I guess,
So we all have driven by and and Jessica took pictures, so we're all,
I have some
Apprised.
just too, that I want to make a couple of points.
yep, certainly, yep,
So I'll submit these with you folks. as
sure, sure, thank you.
um. Yeah,
Yeah,
we are.
Hold it there longer.
yeah. We get it.
Okay, so our appointment with 100 Warren Road. Ms. Macas?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a driveway that was put in, within 100 feet of the, bordering vegetated wetlands. I guess if you said you had some pictures for us, or Jessica, do you want to?
Well, it's also the wetland, and it's also within the Trout Brook riverfront area. The two buffer.
So, I thought we were right there, but obviously we're at 90 feet. It depends on where you folks measure. I don't know if it's the start, the middle, I don't know how this is done, so I guess this is gonna be my education, but my driveway, my current driveway that's in, comes right out at the corner. And people that come down this road drive not the 25 speed limit that is stated. I have tried to back out my driveway a couple of times and almost have gotten nailed by big trucks. I've had cars that can't slow down that end up going over the double yellow line and pass me because they can't stop. I've also noticed that my neighbor that's on the same side of me has his driveway with his garage that's a lot closer. So I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, and the neighbors across the street has a driveway even closer. So I guess what we had done was we moved the dirt and the rocks by hand, no machinery was used. We're not restricting the waterway, we're not impending or imposing on the waterway whatsoever. I'm just trying to get further away from that corner to be able to kind of do just like a wrap, to be able to come out a little bit further than getting creamed.
Right.
Now, the kicker is that this was done in October, where a car flipped over, hit the telephone pole, and you gotta like the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit sign that's right in this picture as well. If he was going 25, how do you crack a telephone pole in half and flip your car over because an animal came out? He was not cited. The cops are not doing anything to enforce. And this was the final straw for me when I said, we need to do something for our safety.
Mhm.
I want to cooperate with this board, and I know you folks take your work seriously. We've done everything by hand. We're not bringing in machinery. We're not impending the waterway. We're not doing anything that our neighbors haven't already done. And I can leave these pictures with you, but I mean, you can kind of clearly see that there's no way a car can flip over if you're going 25.
I think, we appreciate your predicament. Jessica,
Yeah, no, from a safety perspective, I think it's very fair. It's just the Townsend regulations and then the state wetland regulations both say if you're going to be altering, which is so changing, very broad definition of changing, which captures pretty much everything. Drainage characteristics, runoff characteristics, if you're cutting vegetation, which is what happened here, but moving earth, moving soil, that you just need.
Already a third time.
Okay,
We already been driving up and down.
right, yeah,
We just added
okay,
a little bit more for her SUV to
Sure.
be able to make it up.
okay.
And remove the rocks that were already there.
Right.
We have not added anything, it's done by hand.
Can I,
Material.
can I say something? I just want to say one thing. I just want to tell them that that it's not that you can't do what you're doing, it's just that you need to file for a permit to do it. That's all this is. And so that's all. I mean, we're not gonna say you can't do it. Yeah.
I didn't.
oh, they all say that.
He just, he moved the rock.
Very cookie cutter.
So I just wanted you to know that so that you don't get, don't have a heart attack in addition to almost getting killed on the corner.
Well, it's been, my
Realistically-
because I've been working a lot of hours being
Yeah.
year-end and a controller
Yeah.
before.
Probably should just file an NOI.
So you can work with Jessica and she'll give you the paperwork for the filing of a notice of intent. And then you'll come before us again and we'll basically be telling you how to make sure that no siltation, how to protect the wetland area and how to protect the resource area.
On NOI or RDA.
Now, can I
Okay.
ask a
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, you can.
So if I do all the filings according to what is needed, then do I need to do another filing if I wanted to pave it, or can it be all?
How quickly were you thinking paving?
Well, I didn't have the funds right now, but I figured spring.
Oh,
So the approval, regardless.
it's good for 3 years.
So the permit's good
It's
for
good
3
for
years.
3 years. So include the paving in that.
Okay. So I
Include
just want to
that.
disclose that. then.
You also
Yeah.
need to go, you talk to Jim Smith with the Townsend Highway Department, and there's a permit involved there
For
also.
paving,
Well, no, just for driveway.
oh, for
period.
driveway,
Okay.
oh,
Did he go out there? Did you respond?
Sure. I did make him aware.
He's easy going.
Yeah.
Go see him or call him if he can, I don't know what he's gonna do, probably come out and look at it. I don't even know if the building inspector. needs
No,
to
it's no
look at it.
building, it's just a driveway.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so.
There's something to do with cutting into the road or something, but
Oh, no, you're adding more driveway frontage and I don't remember
Exactly.
the maximum for a single family, but it's really outside our jurisdiction. We just want to make sure.
Okay.
good.
And,
And this was Smith?
Jim
Jim
Smith at the highway.
So,
Sent out at the top is an email address, the conservation@townsendma.gov. That's the quickest way to reach me. And then I can, if you just email me, hey, this is who I am, I can
Sure.
email all this stuff.
Certainly. Okay.
So you want our,
RDA, we don't need an NOI. I don't think.
It'd be looked at just to see if it needs culvert or anything underneath.
that's a Jim thing, and I don't disagree with you.
um,
Do you guys folks like to see these pictures as well?
I think we're good. Thanks.
we can look at
Yeah.
So the only
it. If
thing,
you could use phone too, you could just like email them.
You need that one.
Yeah, so
I think I'm concerned of is the runoff, and you can put an infiltration trench, which is a stone trench, like 2 foot wide, 2 foot deep, however long, to catch the water coming off of the driveway to prevent it from.
So underneath all that, will like
4 to 6 inch stone. So, and then there's a walk wall on both sides of it. So even if water did come down, it would still go underneath it. You keep going down, you know what I mean?
But once you pave the driveway though, it's impervious.
It would push it out, but what happens is on that corner in the wintertime, the water comes down, we get a foot of water at the bottom of our driveway on a hill like that. So when you back down our driveway, you get a sheet of ice
Right,
and it just goes,
right,
you know what I mean?
yep,
And no matter how much salt you put down, I mean, I've been out there with the shovel, shoveling the stuff out in the road, trying to get it to keep flowing down the hill. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare for them.
It's that corner though, I honest to God, in the summertime, not so much the winter, because you can see kind of the headlights coming, but in the summertime,
Yeah. with
you
all
have
the brush,
motorcycles
yes.
driving about 80.
oh, yeah,
And we're afraid because of our dogs, you know, like they're gonna get hit. Luckily, our dogs are well behaved and they know not to go on the street, but that's my biggest fear is
Right.
that people,
Right.
even just across the street to get your mail,
right.
you know how many times I've had to run to get out of the way?
Do you have one of those with mirrors, you know, the convex
No,
mirrors?
and I don't know if I can actually put one on somebody else's property.
Thursday, I see them come over this hill and the front
You can
wheels
just
off
see
the ground.
Yeah.
And they think it's a joke, like coming down on the hill. You know, I have a big truck, I go to F-250, I'll back right out, but then someone else is gonna get hurt too, you know what I mean? Like, it's-
Jim Smith may have some suggestions for you.
Yeah, he has to provide feedback.
Yeah.
Getting out of the way.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, this was more just for safety, and that was the final straw for me after I seen that. I was just like,
okay, so RDA,
RDA,
So, yeah, so you said 90 feet, so we're looking like, if you can follow the mouse even, like the closest edge of water to your driveway, to the closest point of the driveway
okay.
to that water.
I measured,
Do you guys know?
alright, so, see that post right there, that's over, right here?
oh, yeah,
I measured to about this tree right here, all the way to my driveway, to the edge right there, and I had about 90 feet.
90 feet, okay.
Yeah.
it,
I mean, I
It
can
could
take
be
the driveway,
98
and I can turn it a little bit more the other way, and I can give you that extra 10 feet.
Well, what I was thinking,
But-
if it's like within 50 feet, then an NOI, but if it's outside of 50, RDA.
yeah,
So,
You know,
yeah, and it's so close to the 100.
Right.
It's,
I mean, that's my only question would be like, how is my neighbor so close with his driveway and
They-
garage?
could have permitted, they could have pulled the permit,
they either pulled the permit or it was installed before any of the wetland regulations or
Oh.
even
Grandfather.
created
Yes.
yet. So,
they've only been in force since
like,
mid-70s.
mid-70s.
state.
Yeah.
all we did was put a truck load of dirt down.
Right, so,
So,
And everything was done by hand, right?
yeah, I'm an amputee, I just shoveled it down the hill, like, you know what I mean?
So
I
we just-
rolled the rock down
we
there.
have to go and approach this backwards.
Okay.
Just file the RDA and
The RDA stands for Request for Determination of Applicability. It's a mouthful. It doesn't really matter at all. It's your permit. It will ultimately become your permit.
Okay.
But once I get your email, I can send you the form and explain it, and then what details we'll want, I mean, what, scope of work that you guys already did.
Thirdly, okay.
But you definitely want to get with Jim Smith at the highway department. Yeah.
do the conservation stuff as quickly as possible, because she's leaving on maternity leave soon.
Yeah.
So, it's, yeah, just, it's a simple
Yeah, I can shoot an email.
form and
Tonight and get
permit,
that.
and we'll just go into this backwards. There's no runoff, there's no, so, yes, RDA, do we need a motion on this? Or
I think, no, oh, okay, good.
so, if you get it, Jessica can give you a timeline. If you get it to us by whatever date, we can go over at the next meeting on the 25th.
Pretty glad.
For RDA.
Yep.
Okay, well,
Oh, that's
it would be
right.
it would be the second week of February.
Certainly.
So,
But you're all already familiar with this one, at least by now, so, baby steps, right? And then by the time I'm back, someone's gonna part of wetland, you know, and soil, so we're good. Anyway. Well, yeah, so if you just want to email the conservation at
I'll do it tonight.
even tonight, and then tomorrow I can send you all the good stuff to get things moving.
Okay, certainly. Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Yes, thank you for joining us and,
Thanks for coming in. Stay safe.
You have a beautiful dog.
What's that dog's name?
Kayla.
Kayla. How much does Kayla weigh? Really?
We have 3 more.
Really? This size? Is that is she
English.
English master?
Is that what you are, the Sandlot?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sure like everyone knows that.
What is a movie? What's
The
it?
Sandlot.
Myanmar.
What?
Oh, you gotta watch it.
She's had pups? Yeah, she's had pups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a litter on
That's a lot
Christmas
of dog
Eve
shit.
last year.
Wow.
And
I bet you kept at least one.
2.
Ah!
She told me I couldn't have any more. Wow, wow. Yeah, he's 1 year and he's like up here.
Wow.
He's a monster.
Wow. How old's this one?
Right.
great. She's program.
Well, that's good.
thank you.
Linda, can you see how big the dog is?
I couldn't see. I was like really trying to see. But it was a bull mastiff,
Yes,
English.
English.
English bull. Oh, those are cool. Those dogs are
100
really,
pounds.
yeah, they're big.
She was here.
Yeah, she was very well behaved. Better than Doobie-Doo.
oh,
Little dogs always have way more personality and aggression and
little dog syndrome.
it's true.
So 3.1, request of determination of applicability, TWB, number 2022-141. Proposed project will take place on town land west of Mason Road and Horseshoe Drive for the removal of several trees in order to maintain species habitat. This is continued from 12/14.
Oh, yeah.
Emily is on, Veronica's on, and Gina is on, and
Hello?
Hello?
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes.
Emily, you're muted.
There we go. Oh, there you
Thank
are.
you.
Good.
You're muted, Emily.
Oh, no, not anymore.
She's
Not anymore.
There she is. Oh, there you are.
So this project was continued last time pending a map of buffers, which we have.
What?
Why didn't, it just appears, why didn't we have the map of the buffers before?
They needed to get it completed.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
ready.
All right, thank you. Thanks for
I
refreshing my
sent this
memory.
out. So, I had requested a map just due to the size of this project.
Can you zoom in, please?
No.
Okay, fine.
Ooh, she's getting coffee.
I'm getting tired. Okay, so, oh yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I requested a map of the resource boundaries plus 35-foot plus 100-foot and then the 200-foot riverfront area. So, we have that now, so we just wanted to know for our record for this particular application, and then, you know, moving forward, these boundaries will not change much, if at all, to know what areas of this project site are within CONSCOM jurisdiction, and what are not. So it seems to me that the majority, 100% almost of the vegetation removal will occur within buffer areas, except that in like the low field areas in the northern part of the site. So whatever conditions you guys apply will
Didn't we go over conditions last time?
We started to, and then I did actually formally draft some up.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, I remember last time we had asked that it be, that this be clearly defined, but also where the work is taking place. And it might be on this, but because I'm on Zoom, I can't see the bottom of the map here. And maybe it's saying where the work is, or like in what area is the work taking place? Is it between the yellow and green line, or?
Do you see the 1135-0?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that slope from the middle of the soccer field up and around to the north, and then the flats, we can call it, from the green line towards the house lots. Correct, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I was asking for at the last meeting was to show that on the map somehow.
Do you have to show it, or can we just state it in writing? I mean, how would you show it?
That's what I
Other
was
than to
wondering.
say it goes from pretty much what James just said.
I think with the scale of this map, it would be hard to outline where, but we do have pictures, and the scrub vegetation that's proposed for removal is flagged in the field
Just turn it
already.
off.
Okay, the only reason I ask for this kind of stuff, and I think it's important, is that when we're all gone and not here, if somebody says, what happened, how that, if it's written down somewhere, but it's not kind of on a plan, then it's hard for people to see what we permitted. So I always like to see, even if it's just the square area, if you just put a square in where the work is taking place. You know what I mean? See how there's like where you have all the markings of yellow and green and red, if you did something in a different color on the area of where you're going to be doing this, just put area of work, something like that, Is that it?
Yeah, a polygon with some hash marks would help.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it work.
Emily, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, but I think I need to mute my computer. The first time I was told that we needed the 100-foot buffer, then another, and then the 35-foot. And each time we're getting something else added.
This is something
I
I asked
agree
for
with-
at the last
I
meeting.
agree with
Sorry,
Emily.
Emily.
Hear that.
I
So
did
agree.
ask for this at the last meeting.
I didn't hear that, and I thought that's why we had the site walk. And that's why we marked all the trees that we wanted to take down. So I don't know. At this point, I just go ahead, Ronnie.
I think what I'd like to add to this is we have all the trees are marked. I believe we have pictures of that. I don't know why words couldn't describe where we're removing the trees. To go in and put little hash marks where all the trees are is a little involved.
Why?
For a map like
we could
this.
just-
I'm playing catch up here. I don't know what the.
I only saw this last meeting, so I
There
don't.
was a site walk, Linda.
Right, but for those of us who don't always go on the site walks, I trust everybody, and I trust you guys that the trees, that you're saying are coming down and all that. But I always think of a historic, oftentimes notices of intent, RDAs, whatever, they just don't have the information for future commissioners to understand what happened. So
Well,
it's just one of my things. I just feel like we have to have good files, we have to have good information, and it has to be on the plan. It's just something I do, so.
The description that I wrote, the written words explain that these trees are all on the slope going away from the river. So that should help delineate from the map here where they are as far as the river and those other lines.
There is another hand-drawn map that Emily did that should be included with the record as well. I can get like.
I don't want to hold this up. What I just want is just if somebody could just even just draw that on there, or if Jessica makes sure that the area of work is delineated on this.
Would it be okay to just say between the dotted green line and the houses? That area?
Is it all of the houses, or is it just so is it that purple marker?
That's not even the entire area, because
I know.
why don't we just call it within parcel 1135 or 0?
There's no because it's on the inner slope, so there's no concern for erosion down toward the river or the wetland, all on the inner slopes or on the flatland. And I know we have discussed before having some sort of environmental town competent person per se out there during the work hours, so that we can monitor what vegetation is being removed.
Okay.
So I had that as a special condition, if that's still planned.
I don't know if that's necessary, but so this purple line that somebody just put in, where did this come from? Is this where the work is?
I just drew that up. I totally sketched it.
Just now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the inner slopes.
Yeah, so if that's the inner slope and you put somewhere that the purple area is the area of work, that's all I think we need to have.
Not the area of work, because it's all the flat too.
There's still a lot too. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Not a lot, but
Jessica's on 1 hour of sleep last night, or for whatever.
I
So
know. And I'm not feeling good, so the area of work is actually all the way to the boundary of, oh, you're doing that now. Okay, so that's the area of work.
Another
it's-
area.
Yeah, it's really all over.
Yeah, it's a little further up to,
okay, sorry.
That's why I said.
no, you're,
There's also a spot that's sort of right near the bottom of the map,
Right.
near the end of the driveway, right up there. Yep, right there.
I can't edit these anymore. I'll fix it to a better color and all.
I like the color.
I will say that we're working on a CR for this property, and this will be part of a maintenance plan that's part of that CR.
That will be recorded in the registry of deeds moving forward.
Yeah.
Correct, so that there is a good description of where work will be done in the future. And we will also be having a baseline documentation report done, which is a requirement for a CR. And so that should show the work that is done. That will be done after this work is done, the
Right.
BDR.
And this is an
So-
RDA, correct? So, yeah. And you won't have to do this, you won't have to file an RDA every time you do this, correct? Or did we say?
No, once we have the CR in place, it should, the maintenance plan should be there. I would think that the Conservation Commission might want to review what's going to
Yeah,
be coming
I would
out.
think so, yeah.
But those requirements will be put in as part of the maintenance plan for this property. under the conservation restriction.
No roots are gonna be removed from the slope or from
Yeah.
anything.
I
It's all
remember
gonna
that.
stay intact. It's,
Yep, yep.
Except
no
for
piles are gonna.
seedlings.
Yes,
No, it's all good. I mean, it's all good. I just think we need to have, if Jessica can put down where the work like she just did. I think that's good.
I think Jessica
Everyone
felt,
agrees.
what?
We agree.
Yeah, so,
Purple it is.
I'm not familiar with this. Can someone tell
you know,
me?
the back soccer
Yeah,
back soccer field, you know how the kids like to run on slopes and I lose my,
oh, yeah.
they're
Sure.
gonna clean it up a
They
little.
like to jump down.
Yeah, and then I get all that.
Your face turns red.
So they're
That's
gonna do
perfect.
selective cutting and clearing back there for habitat restoration for endangered species. To
Yeah.
keep them away from the soccer fields or in hopes of it. All the brush is gonna get removed. Moved off the site, stumps and roots are gonna stay in the ground.
Oh, that's good.
And the purpose is to keep the kids off the slope.
Well, just keep the endangered animals away from soccer fields and
And the
promote
kids.
nesting and it's, yeah, it's habitat maintenance or restoration, however you wanna call it. I think it's maintenance. I don't have any issues. I'm willing to entertain a motion in a second.
I did put together, condition, assuming a negative 3 with some special conditions, I did put some together based on our discussion last meeting. I don't know how. What I have, you guys can read that. But yeah, these are pretty much the stuff that we talked about at the last meeting. So some of it has already been done anyway.
What happened to 10?
Oh, this was just work in progress. I haven't.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just the next enter.
So Jessica, when you have this condition, the conservation representative shall be present during the work days to oversee compliance.
I mean, that's just something that we had discussed in the past, but
Yeah,
obviously that was outside the meeting, so.
it doesn't mean you have to stand there while they're doing it, right? Are you meaning like you just want to do a site inspection to make sure?
How about we change the verbiage, a conservation representative shall monitor,
Yeah,
occasionally monitor the site during work days in
Yeah.
order to.
I can't imagine that it's a good use of your time, Jessica, to be present while they're doing all this
I
work.
don't think Steve was the one that was gonna be doing it, by the way.
What?
It wasn't gonna be her, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Who would do it then? Who would stand there and watch them? Plus, I don't think it needs somebody monitoring. It's not like,
Not it.
I mean, we totally trust.
I was the
You
one
guys
that
are
was
doing it for
involved
good
with
reasons.
that.
Right, monitor periodically, perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Um,
I'm gonna delegate it. How about this? So it's not, so we have a little,
There you
it
go.
doesn't have to be actual. Or we can just move it, scrap, I mean, it's up to you guys.
so one of the things I think should be, the wording should be changed with the gas and the oil machinery used on site. I think it should say within the 100-foot restricted area of the well, but
Oh. Well, we
I
know
also don't want to,
where that, yeah.
it's on, but
Like
because the thing is on site, you're talking, if you go back to the map, that also includes the area where the soccer field is.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they use oil and machinery there.
So just say within the
Work area.
work area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Veronica.
What size trees and whatnot are we talking about?
Size
Being removed? Small?
This,
5-foot pines, if that, maybe,
Oh, okay.
right?
yeah, 3-inch birches.
3-4 feet.
I think it's in
Very
the
good.
application, is it not?
It is.
Did-
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Col-
What is,
Colby has
um,
been on a slight hiatus with school, so he's
Yeah.
catching up.
So, what's the existing structures that you're not supposed to tamper with?
Uh,
Oh, those,
monitoring wells.
yep. Pipes coming out of the ground.
Got it, okay. So maybe we should put that,
Was it?
monitoring well structures or something, no tampering with monitoring wells?
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to put that.
Water department doesn't, they won't want to highlight the fact that they're
So-
there.
I don't have
Okay, got it. I remember that now.
the number 10, because we're not going to add anything there. I'm good with this if other people are.
Yep.
Um,
I'll just spell check again.
Who's performing the work?
volunteers.
Okay.
So Emily is the permit holder for the property, to monitor the endangered species. And, she has enlisted some volunteers from, where was the,
The Harris Center, which is a nonprofit environmental education organization. And they like the work that we've been doing. So they,
They're in Hancock, New Hampshire, right?
yeah.
all right,
Can I ask a question about number 9? Can you explain to me what that means beyond what we're doing right here today and the process we've gone through?
Occurring within the buffer area delineated on the map in Town Townsend.
So we're outside of the approved scope to this RDA. Or, yeah, if someone goes in and starts pulling out the roots when they're not allowed to, that is in a jurisdictional area, that can be enforceable if the commission sees fit.
Work occurring, but maybe we should say that better. Work
I honestly don't know what this means because I think
Right.
that we filed this RDA because there is work occurring within the buffer areas, which is subject to the Conservation Commission jurisdiction approval and enforcement. So that's why we filed what we did and asked for these sorts of conditions.
So I agree, Ronnie, and I think what Jess is trying to say is that any work outside of the application but I think that's all she's saying. But that, you're right, that wasn't being very clear.
Is that better?
Work outside of the approved scope of this determination.
Yeah, this is better.
No, I agree, Ronnie. That was.
I poorly worded that. I knew what I was thinking in my mind, not on paper.
Thank you.
You sure can edit our bylaws really well, though, Jessica.
But not a permit. All right. So,
It's 8:45.
yep, and we've just scratched the surface.
Mhm.
I,
so if
You
you
need a
guys are
motion?
cool, I recommend the -3 RDA as the condition.
I make a motion, we, are there numbers to read here? This,
TWB 2022-141.
thank you. I make a motion that TWB 2022-141 be approved for, we issue an RDA. An RDA be filed with the conditions
What number?
The
of negative
-3
determination. Sorry.
with the conditions and the map.
With the
And map.
conditions we cited during this meeting and the map with
That was
changes
submitted and altered during our
that was
meeting.
submitted and altered during the meeting.
Second? Second. Okay. Roll call vote.
Joan Savoy,
Colby Stringer, yes.
James Gaze, yes.
Pat General, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Just so you guys know, and you can put this on your calendar and help. April 13th and 14th are the dates that I hope we can get this work done at. And that will avoid April school vacation. It's a Thursday and Friday. Friday, there's no soccer. And on the 13th, it would be done during school hours anyways. So there won't be any soccer there at that time either. So that's when it's scheduled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll
Yeah.
finalize this and then, just coordinate you guys via email for delivery or pickup of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you. You're
night.
welcome. Good night.
Have you adjourned?
No.
I wish. God, that would be nice if we did.
Well, everyone was saying goodnight to each other, so I just wondered.
What if we could?
All right, 3.2, request for certificate of compliance 7-9 Riverbank Terrace,
Yes.
DEP number 3080629.
Ms. Consalvo,
Works completed.
So this one was just one of many on the list of open orders of conditions that we had on file that was never filed for a certificate of compliance. So I reached out to the applicant. After 3 letters, I was contacted finally. And so she did, the applicant did, even though she's no longer lives at this address, she did file the request for COC form.
oh, good.
But she does not want to pay the fee.
What's the fee?
For $400, I want to say. So she had a request to waive that fee, and I was trying several times to reach out to her to invite her to the meeting tonight to discuss this more in person, and I never heard back. So it is.
So when people request a certificate of compliance, they pay a fee?
If the order has been expired. For our Townsend fee schedule, there's no fee to submit a request for COC for, simple single family home projects while the order is still valid. Once it expires, it accrues an annual fee of $100. And then that's the amount that is submitted with the request form.
So it's $100 or $400?
100 annually. So this one was expired, I guess, for 4 years, 3 or 4 years, somewhere in there.
Now, what's the situation? Does she really, did she know about this, or did she just buy the house 3 or 4 years ago, or what?
No, they sold the house.
It's plus. She lived in one of the addresses, a neighbor lived in the other. I guess as part of the sale, they probably failed Title V and needed a septic upgrade would be my guess. They got a order of conditions at the time to do it, did the work, I think, pretty immediately. But we have record of the permitting the applicant's signature on a certified mail receipt saying that she received the order of conditions and read through them and understood them and blah, blah, blah. The order itself says, once the work is done, you need to file for a request for COC. But during my initial communication with her, she was claiming that no one ever told her that needed to be done. The same story that we hear a lot, so. I mean, it's hard, yeah, it's like doing an update on your phone, you just scroll through it and find it, and you don't actually read any of it, so.
Right. So, do we want to give her a break, like $200 or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's a slippery slope, Linda, because, well, first of all, if the person were here and could tell us why they object to paying the fee, which is what she says, I am requesting to be waived of all fines. If she had come, I would feel differently. Also, she said that, she's saying that I believe the engineers, said that they never had the COC sent to them. I do understand that the prior, perhaps the prior, Conscom wasn't actively following up on some of this stuff the way we are now.
Right.
Nonetheless, I do think that, and we've had this conversation, if you start waiving fees, the where, how, what.
No, but they also, this property also has, let's see, a violation. I don't know if that was ever taken care of. What?
Well, I don't know. Confirmed, yes, violate. There was a
What's the
porch,
violation?
a porch that went in.
It was a
It's
deck.
Oh,
So was that with the previous Conservation Commission or?
well, we don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a deck, there was a deck located on the bank of the Squanicook River and riverfront area constructed without permit. It was supposed to be removed, we don't know if it was ever removed.
Oh. Well.
They were
suggest-
asking them to remove the deck that they had put in?
Yeah, this is old, this is 2015, but the original correspondence was actually January 24th, 2013. So based on them having other infractions, why, yeah, like,
Right.
it's a slippery slope. Just
Right.
pay the $400, just move on.
And I'll,
So, so I wasn't recommending that, I just didn't know if it was being brought up. So I agree, but do we?
I mean,
she's not
hardship,
gonna pay it.
if somebody could say hardship, legitimate hardship,
Exactly.
that's a little different, but also I would like to know if that deck got removed.
That's. another
Yeah.
Right.
conversation.
I was kind of just using it as an
Right,
example.
right, no, but I appreciate that, James, thank you.
Have they been billed annually with the accrual?
I don't know how that works.
And when does the next year start? So it would be $500.
I mean, technically, she requested in December, so that's when
So another year, okay.
accruing.
So she's not gonna pay it, right? I mean,
No,
to
she
be
won't.
realistic, she's not gonna pay it.
The property sold, she doesn't even own it.
She rents, she doesn't own it?
Well, no, it's sold. She doesn't even own it anymore.
Oh my
Her,
God.
the mailing address on the order of condition, which I won't say here, but it is her current address where I did track her down. So she had already purchased the new home
Right,
Well,
during the time of issuance of the order for the subject placement across.
So, if she's not gonna pay it and it's gonna continue every year,
oh, it stops accruing once the
No,
papers are filed.
either. I
like, it'd be nice to stop it at least so that she doesn't get charged every year another.
I mean, you guys can vote, say that right now.
well, it did, because she's
Right, she
requested
filed.
the
Yeah,
CLC,
right.
so.
So currently, she has not, as of, 11 days ago, heard the accrual stopped. So.
Yeah.
That's unless you deny
So,
it.
maybe send her a letter also, or something, I'm just brainstorming here, but she needs to know that if she doesn't pay it, it will be put on, as a lien on her property, but if you're saying it's not her property anymore?
Yeah, she doesn't own the property, so you can't lien it.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
God.
We don't have much traction then, right?
Well,
No traction.
But yeah, it is absolutely a slippery slope if you waive a fee for one.
Right,
Yeah, but
right.
she's,
So what do
so
we
I'm
do?
trying to think that, so we missed the opportunity to put a lien on the property when she sold it to get the $400 or 300 at that point, probably. I'm just trying to figure out, how we get the $400. That's all. I'm trying to think out loud. She's not going to pay it.
Wait a minute, we do know where she lives and she's not gonna pay it, and maybe we don't worry about this too much until the next time somebody talks to Adam. Just run it by Adam.
I mean, there's, I'm sure, some type of statute thing, and the order is conveyed with the property, so maybe it's on the new owner, but
Yeah, but
that's a lot. I mean,
that
that's
seems
one
like a
assumption.
lot for a new owner.
so, but yeah, the duplex, so the order is recorded actually for the neighbor who still lives there. Is not reported to her name, even though it's issued to her, reported to the neighbor. It's just weird paperwork that was done.
Do you have a recommendation, Jessica?
Ask Adam.
I mean, the language in of an order about how the order conveys with transfers of title to the property is, I think, probably intentionally vague. So, I mean, there's a chance we could reach out via letter to the 2 current tenants of that duplex, and they split the, saying that this order is still open, tied to your property. And they split the fee, so 200 each. Or they split 3 ways, whatever each, 133 each.
But it's not really us to figure that out. I was just trying to think like.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, like, Matt or I are probably going to have to do that no matter what.
Listen,
So.
Why can't you just ask Adam? Wouldn't he know? Like the next time you get the Tuesday night thing?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it would have been better if the applicant was here tonight,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel a lot better about it if the applicant had been here tonight.
Yeah, me too.
But what we can continue with, I can send a letter to all 3 parties involved, the past owner, and then the current 2 tenants, inviting them to the next meeting.
Can we
I don't think we
hold
have
up
to have
issuance of the COC if the fee's not paid,
But yeah,
right?
but we could also,
I mean, you could vote to issue a complete COC. I mean, the work's done, it's stable, so it's done. But we could vote to hold us physically issuing it until the fee is paid.
They don't really care about that, though, I don't think.
Right.
I mean,
How about if you send a letter to all 3 of the, show that, all 3 of them are getting the same letter?
we're going at this the wrong way, I think.
And that they owe the Conservation Commission $400 and that we just expect that to be paid within 30 days or something.
I think if the new people are gonna ask, well, why didn't the other person pay it or something?
But so aren't the people on Alyssa Drive and all the other people that try to sell their house after, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
really the only snafu for everybody is the fact that there is an encumbrance on the title of this property, like a red flag. So
Our red flag.
So if someone at 709 Riverbank right now tries to sell, if they have a good closing attorney who's doing, or a seller's rep doing a title search, they'll say, hey, there's an encumbrance, so it's not like a lien necessarily, but it's a red flag on the title report that says you have an environmental permit tied to this property.
Well, at that point during the closing, would the $400 come to the town?
I would assume so, yeah. But
Okay, so it's similar to a lien. It's the same thing,
I
right?
have emailed the registry of deeds twice about this because it is linked to 7-9 Riverbank Terrace, not Riverbank Terrace. So technically,
It's-
someone who is doing a sale right now
Right.
would not get that flag.
Right.
You can't make this stuff up.
Fascinating,
So I have done what I can so far.
fascinating. Thank you,
But-
Jessica.
Yeah, so it's just a weird,
Right. The note that was sent back to you, can you even read that?
I couldn't,
I can read it.
Okay,
I tried. I mean, I knew the gist of what
Let's
was in
move
it
that.
based on my phone conversation.
I don't want to sound grumpy, but it. No. We're not, I don't,
No waiting.
no waiving, and I don't think we should issue it until we figure out what
Right.
our
I'm
course
with
of
you.
action is.
yeah,
I'm with you.
I agree. No issuance of a
Right.
COC. And maybe a letter to all of them, and then we do, that's when you can ask our town council whether we should do a lien or what you were saying, Jessica. So that when there's a transference and there's a,
Oh, it is,
As
okay.
soon as you, yeah, as soon as you.
then it would come,
Why
the
they-
money would come.
Hold on,
Like
Linda's
what?
talking, so I understand.
So what I was just saying is that, so we send a letter to all of them to show that we're, that they owe the town money, and then clarify with our town council if we should do a lien or what you were saying, Jessica, which is the better way for the town, when there's a signing of a mortgage and stuff, when they do all that, looking at any liens or anything that's on the property or money that's owed, so that it comes to us at that point.
We just need to get the address updated at the registry.
Yeah, but you can do that, I'm sure.
I'm trying, so.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Colby's gonna
Ready?
go on to the next slide.
Do I need to make a motion about that, like so moved or something, and? Or what? Or do we just got it, so we don't need to say anything about it?
Matt, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. I think we would need a motion to continue or to deny, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay,
So either one would work.
all right, so I'll make a motion to not issue a certificate of compliance for 7 to 9 Riverbank Terrace, DEP 308-0629.
second. Oh, until such time as we figure out.
Until such time that we receive payment. Overdue payment, something like that? Yeah. Once we get that $400, then they can get their certificate of compliance.
Second.
Is that a roll call?
Roll
Okay.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes, he's not in the room.
It's all right.
That's all, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
for the record, James stepped out, but we have a quorum.
Okay, good.
Okay, we are moving on. Agreed?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to 3.3, discuss, did you know educational material?
I would, as the author, I would like to move that to the next meeting, please.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah,
moving on. 3.4, review draft of fiscal year 2024 CC budget.
This I do want to do really quick because I have to send this to Eric tonight. Was real quick. The only significant change from last year is just Hartley. If I can get screen sharing.
Move to do this next week, next meeting.
Kick the can down the road, huh, Joan?
Hartley, do you mind if I grab screen sharing?
the time, that's why.
I just gave you the power to do so, Matt. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. So as you can see here, I'm proposing that we get a $300 office supply budget because right now we're just using the land use budget for office supplies, and that can be kind of frustrating to have to go through the land use process, and it's just easier if we have our own budget.
Yeah.
And then the other is I want to propose a $200 advertising, printing, and postage budget, because it's happened in the past where we've had town projects that require legal notice. And just if we have a budget to pay for some of those, I think that would be convenient.
Thanks for picking up on that, Matt.
Matt, the postage is not for like our normal mail-in postage, right?
I don't believe so. It's pretty vague here. I can ask someone to see exactly what that entails.
Okay.
Sorry?
Well, yeah, because I know we use the land use code, but I think, yeah, I mean, if we have to use our own conservation postage budget, we definitely, we blow through that in 2 months, so. Yeah,
Right.
let's get clarification first.
Sure.
too.
I'm asking, I know that's a $500 increase and they don't want any increases right now. So how I kind of want them to do it is to potentially decrease our clothing budget from 1,200 to 600. Because that's so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Because no one knew about it. Look at what.
Oh my gosh.
No.
6 months ago when Jim was arguing that we don't have a clothing budget.
No, people did. James, they always had a clothing.
I need some new rubber boots. Can I get that out of the clothing budget?
What used to happen. That's
Oh,
what was
staff
happening.
only, sorry for that.
Yeah, it's in the union. It's in the union contract that each member of the conservation staff has that $600. So I'm not sure if I'm even able to ask that to be decreased, but I'm
okay.
We'd rather take more hours than salary.
Well, so then
Right,
let's
exactly.
make
Well,
that
that's
happen.
also part of that.
Let's make that
And we
happen.
also should get it, okay, so I'm sorry, I stepped out to use the little boy's room because I couldn't hold it any longer. I think $50 a year for a data plan, is that real?
I have found data plans for under $50. Yes.
Okay, what does the town use?
What does the town use?
This is for your pad, right?
It's for the
one you
pad,
haven't
yeah.
bought
The
yet.
one you haven't bought yet.
We just bought it's being shipped. It should be here next week.
Woo!
Yeah, so we finally have it.
Okay, whatever. So I think you guys need a large scanner to scan all these plans and documents as you receive them. So we can start to digitize our information and our files, and
That'd be a land use, probably one versus just conservation, but
what about splitting it?
yeah.
Or does the building department have one?
Water department has the ability to scan like 24x36s.
Yeah, but
Nice.
We were invited frequently to use them.
Nice.
But if you get with building department, you get with land use and us, and we split it 3 ways,
Yeah.
To go all the way down to today,
Yeah.
I can look into that, but the budget Eric gave me a couple extra days so that way I could get in front of you guys. But it was actually due the draft on the 9th. But I can put that in. I can put a scanner in. I can see how much that would cost, with the shot.
I think it's worth, but also worth talking to the other 2 departments to split it 3 ways. So it's shared, because, we gotta start digitizing this stuff. We're still stuck.
Their
I
budget's
agree.
probably
I agree.
in already, maybe though.
Oh, maybe they can amend them. They're waiting on ours.
Right, which is what,
I mean,
Well, it may.
20,
No, that's not for this.
No.
That's not for town budget.
oh, yeah, you're right, that's right, you're right. Yeah, this is a special town meeting, yeah.
Matt, do you need us to approve this tonight?
Yes, and then I can add after the capital requests, which is a different sheet. I can add a scanner and just see if that gets approved. But
You got
Do you want
Okay, I make a motion.
make a motion to approve this? I'll make a motion to approve the budget submitted by Matt.
with the addition of a
Scanner.
scanner.
A scanner.
A
Yeah,
second.
But I think
Okay.
the scanner is on the capital, didn't you say?
Yeah, it's a capital, but that's part of the budget.
Okay, all right. Leave it as is then.
$200
So-
for postage and not for certified mailing that you do?
That's
Go
the
here.
extra.
Is that what that's for?
Then I could add it here.
We will have projects that we need to, so for example, if we wanted to revise chapter 150 regulations, we need to hold at least one public hearing, and to hold a public hearing, we need to do a legal ad. That's $75 right there.
Hmm.
Whose budget is that gonna come, exactly, yeah. So
That's
that's the intent of like,
doesn't even make sense. 150, so you need
Yeah.
at least 225.
so I think it's not.
At that point, you might as
It's
well
for, like,
300.
Specifically in-house stuff. But postage we pull from the umbrella land use.
Why wouldn't that be in the umbrella land use?
So we shouldn't.
I don't know.
Okay, well, we have a motion on the table. I,
Yeah, let's get it rolling.
Oh, to approve.
so if they, when they buy rubber boots, when they get, you guys ever order permethrin?
I think that's on the clothing wish list.
Oh, yeah, the hoodies, the Promethean
So that-
hoodies,
Well,
and you got your Munsell soil book
We got that in
with
order,
that,
yeah.
you guys gonna order permethrin hoodies?
Yeah, it comes
Just
with.
get the spray.
No, wait,
Whatever. Sorry, John.
Well,
Do we have a second? You have a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so, roll call vote.
Savoy, yes.
Yeah, Kobe Schrader, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jamalias.
Linda Mack, yes.
It's Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
No problem.
2022 annual town report draft review stuff.
I can screen share for that too.
We have to do this
It looks
too.
fine to me.
Yeah.
I read it. I read it. It looks
Okay.
fine to me. It seemed a little cramped on the page, but aside from that, I don't,
I think
it's
it's
the thought
awesome.
that counts, right?
Great.
I was trying to keep it to one page. Yeah, that's why it's a little cramped.
Or I have that awkward like 2 sentences.
Yeah. No,
The agenda.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Adjournment.
Killing those trees. I think it looks good.
right, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it looked good to me.
I make a
We
motion.
can reformat it. a little
I
bit,
make
don't worry.
I make a motion, we accept the review draft of fiscal year 2024's conscom.
Oh,
I mean,
hold on.
Second it. What?
So, sorry.
sorry,
Second paragraph, resignation of Jennifer Eaton, and Jim LaQuarrie was removed from the commission without reappointment by vote of board of selectmen. Shouldn't it just say,
I thought his term.
yeah, his term ended and he was not reappointed.
His term ended and it was not.
Was not removed.
And
Okay.
didn't Jennifer Eaton resign?
Yeah, that I have.
That
We
was the
accepted
first-
resignation.
yeah,
But yeah, I wasn't sure how to word it for Jim, so thank you for saying that. I can change
Yeah.
that.
Okay, good.
That,
Okay.
I
I'll put a
don't-
note there.
I feel that's way harsher than it should be.
yeah, that's good,
Yep.
that's a good point.
That's fair. Okay.
Good catch,
I can add that note.
James.
That was somebody else that verbiage was applying to before.
So his term ended and sorry, what was that after that?
And
Was not reappointment?
He was
Not
not
reappointed?
reappointed.
and he was not, or he was, yeah, I don't know, short and sweet.
That's it, just term ended.
Yeah, term ended.
Yeah,
But he did reapply.
I think that's
Okay.
it's fine.
He did after,
After.
it just term ended. Do we have anything saying that we have a full board?
We do, yeah, at the bottom. I say we have a full board.
All right, I'm good with that.
Okay. Are we all set?
You good with that?
Yeah.
You good with the files?
I make a motion that we accept, the 2022 annual town report draft, with the changes suggested.
I second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Full shooter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Linda Mack, yes.
Review map, dash table of CC managed properties.
Why did we get that?
Yeah, why do we get what?
Why did we get that map?
Matt made it.
I made it in QGIS so we could have a map of the conservation managed properties.
You created that yourself, Matt?
Yeah,
Thank you, wow.
because I have some GIS experience.
To our knowledge, we did not have one like that before.
Ah, okay, so it's a
So
brand
have
new.
you
entity.
guys
Awesome.
looked at, like Rotten's Conservation Lands website or webpage? They have a very comprehensive list with descriptions on their website.
Mhm.
Might be worth just looking at, to see, your thoughts on it, or to see if it's something, you could base, what we want to do off of. But, again, it's comprehensive and I can't remember all the details, but I thought it was,
Yeah,
I was a couple of reporter to show that.
this is great, Matt.
It had written descriptions of everything, why it was conservation land, what it was attributed to. Could you actually pull it up, Matt, by chance, just quickly?
This is
The
better.
Groton, I just wanted to show real quick, I kind of have
Yeah.
that in the table that I made, like
Yeah.
legal information, how we got it,
Yeah.
the acreage, where you can get on the property, with these arrows here.
Master list,
great.
it should be that first
But,
tab.
That's really impressive, Matt.
Really good job.
Thank you. Groton Conservation.
Mission.
Yeah. Explore our properties.
Oh, okay, oops.
Wait, no, that's the trust, never mind. You don't want the trust.
Okay,
Town of Groton, there it is.
yeah.
So right there on the right.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so just anyone, like you click on it and it gives you an definition. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's kind of what I have on the table.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so, then property.
Wow, they've got a lot of
And it has the
land.
property rules. That's a good idea too. I can, yeah,
Yeah.
I will add that to it. That's a good idea.
That's a lot of rules.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
They're far longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, so you did as part of subdivision, special permit, and it's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can
Matt,
add that like here for rules.
I think you're well on your way in doing
Yeah,
this, and your efforts are appreciated in this.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it'll be good to have. And I wasn't able to this week, unfortunately, but I still plan to put markers up at especially at the easement points of our conservation property, so people know how to get onto the land.
awesome.
So that's still a work in progress.
Where's the one on Wallace Hill Road I saw?
It's
Do you know the
a Meeting House Park, I believe. It's up across from the water tower.
Highland,
Yeah, Highland and Wallace Hill. By your house.
once you, about the wildlife management area.
No.
But that's on Highland Street. That's not on Wallace Hill.
Oh, Wallace Hill. This one.
Yeah.
That's part of Old Meeting House.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that is this property right here. So then Wallace
Got it.
Hill is this road.
There's
Got it.
one, there's like an easement right off of the top of Haynes Road.
You're talking about here, Jessica?
What road is that?
Let me try to find it here.
I'm blanking.
This one off Highland.
Island, that's it.
Isn't that the,
Yeah, that's,
So I'm pretty sure part of that easement, if you go, the town has maps available of water pipe. I believe the water pipe that runs along here.
but I don't think the Wallace Hill Road that I was just talking about connects to this, does it?
no,
No.
To the land, no.
DCR property across from this intersection here, the roadway, across from Cannon Street, which is on Wallace Hill there. It goes,
Yeah, well, also goes.
continues into the wildlife management area.
Oh, okay.
Across from your house.
Yeah, and that runs all the way down to Ball Road.
So there's no way to access it necessarily, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right at Brown, right before Brown, where the stone pillars are, there's a couple of parking spaces. And there's a logging road with a gate you could park in.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying the Wallace Hill Road one, I thought these were town-owned properties.
Nope, that's state.
And
I
it's
know,
allowed-
but I mean, I was asking about the town. Sorry, Matt, are these town-owned properties? Or are
The
these-
ones on the table, yes, and the ones shown here are they're all, not only are they town owned, but they're conservation commission managed.
Got it.
You can
That's why I was
see
confused.
the town, the lighter green is towns and open space. So there's, as you can see, there's a lot of open space in town, but the dark green are the only ones that the conservation commission are actually responsible for and for managing.
So, yeah, so that's why I was confused about Wallace Hill Road, because there's no towns and conservation managed property on Wallace Hill Road that I know of.
Right.
Yeah, good, okay. No, I'm not confused.
Okay. If you guys don't have any more notes, that's all. I just wanted to share it with you guys and see what me and Jessica have been working on.
It's awesome. Good job.
Looks good.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Moving on.
Separate. 3-7?
4-1. 3-7,
Oh, that's,
we tabled it until the next meeting.
oh, we did. Oh, you're right.
Correspondence, DCR forest cutting plan for 153 Wallace Hill Road. Settlement farm.
Yeah, is that, when DCR, remind me, because this is what I'm forgetting. DCR, a Department of Conservation and Recreation, are they doing the forest cutting on the settlement farm? Or is it that settlement farm applied?
Settlement farm,
Is
applied.
doing this, okay. So there's a lot of clear cutting on that. I saw. I have to get it back up, sorry. No, I can't find it.
Harvesting in stand 2 will be clear cut with standards they're probably putting in pasture. Large full crown seed producing hardwoods will be preserved in the stand for seed source. This treatment is intended as a wildlife habitat cut with a future goal of stand conversion to hardwood type. Okay, they're converting it. Stand 1 is the harvest cut in a mature pine hardwood stand under the shelter wood system. 50 feet filter strips will be maintained along all brook and wetland areas.
What's the total amount of land? I don't know, I can't find it now.
33.5 acres, 205.22 thousand board feet.
Well, I guess they're getting it in before Mara Healy puts a moratorium on clear
Well,
cutting.
this is private property though,
I know.
so.
Depends on what you mean by clear cut.
Yeah, she hasn't
I'm
defined
trying
it.
to open a can of worms.
I know. All right,
clear cut, I've seen them take 3 times this out of a forest. And it doesn't even look like it got touched, so. I know it's thick up there.
No, I just like paying attention to these timber cuts because it's important to be aware of what's happening with the forest, especially now. With all the stuff that's happening on Shirley Road, and Maura Healy is trying to do some stuff to put a moratorium on cuts. I think with climate change, people are becoming more aware of how that impacts us. So I just want to look at them a little more closely than I used to. Of course, now I can't find it, so. Oh, that was under correspondence, that's why.
That'd be the smaller stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the smaller stuff, according to this. It's the stuff under the big trees.
Yeah, they're not doing
I've
the
never
big
heard
trees.
it called shelter wood.
I mean, either, but that doesn't
makes
mean
sense.
anything.
Yeah. Understory, you mean, it's understory, this little scraggly stuff?
They're taking all the intermediate trees between the saplands and the
Oh,
canopy,
okay.
trees dominating the canopy.
They're thinning it out. It's part of best management practices.
Okay, so it's not a clear cut. I thought I read a clear cut on
Oh, no, I don't.
So this
There's
is
a
our
clear cut.
jurisdiction anyway, right?
Will be a clear cut with standards. No, it's outside the 300 foot.
Yeah,
So after,
it's just a notice.
Yes,
Can we move on then?
yes.
Thanks.
4.2 ZBA transmittal of decision regarding 227.
Was that the dog kennel?
I think so, yeah.
Like the doggy. daycare.
Yeah.
Doggy daycare,
What's the decision?
yeah. ZBA approved.
Granted, yep.
Okay,
Planning board A&R plan for 106 Parker Hill Road. Okay. I don't know, there's nothing we can really talk about because
it's an A&R,
right. But that doesn't mean that RDA might not come in front of us.
correct.
So, all
Are
right,
there any wetlands on it, or do we know? Did anybody look?
didn't show,
it's just it won't show it. So, but if they do anything they want, yeah, if they pull any building permits, it'll come in front of us.
Okay. So the planning board doesn't need a comment from us, like they,
No. Wild and Scenic River Stewardship Council 2023 Community Grants.
do we want to apply for any grants?
Oh. I thought, I was driving through some town, I don't know where, and they had, this is just something that occurred to me. They had signage that said, watershed protection area. In the water, some of the watershed
Yeah.
protection areas. So, which I thought is a great way to raise
Consciousness, yeah.
the public's consciousness,
Yeah.
because, I can imagine a little kid saying to their mom in the car, what's that mean? And mom going, I don't know, you know what I mean? So it starts a conversation, and I would like to see us to put in for some signs that say watershed. Well, I mean, of course, we'd have to decide where that would be, but I would say like near any tributaries, or I don't know, or like near the wells, or or anywhere. I'm just looking here on the overlay, the aquifer protection.
Yeah, maybe it should be aquifer protection.
Area. We
Because
need
that's
a lot
pretty
of
much all
signs.
119.
Right, something.
That's a great idea, Joan.
God, thanks, what, you know, it made an impact on me when I saw those signs.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea because it would make also townspeople aware. There's an
Right.
aquifer there, aquifer water supply, however we want to word it. Great idea. And those applications are not complicated to fill out.
No, and it's due, what,
Grant.
February 1st or February 15th? Something. I'll tell you what, why don't I'll volunteer. I know someone that knows how to fill this type of thing out really well, and we'll have some input. Why don't I, if with permission, I'll,
Go ahead.
And I'll be happy to look at it too, Joan.
okay, good, thanks. All right, you and I will work on that, Linda?
Yeah, I'll help you.
Okay.
It's due February 1st.
First, yeah, so, but then, I mean, but look, I mean, that, we have to, I mean, how are you gonna decide how many signs and where they go? Oh my gosh, and then we have to get permission. Right, from,
That's very good.
right, that you have to
Yeah.
get permission from people
Well,
and places.
Protection, that's like way more under water department, water commissioner.
Oh, yeah?
So
What?
we could share this with them, but then, you know, do something that's more conservation related. But I don't know if it would go anywhere else with it.
I'll call Dave Vigilant, run it by him, just to
Okay.
see about, okay, all right, and then go for the first step, fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a web
Thanks,
page
Joan.
available with available grants and types?
We were given that, you're welcome, we were given this one for now, because I guess it's due Feb 1.
Okay. Oh, this is just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can come up with any idea for the wildlands, but this one was particularly to protect watershed areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I came up with that idea.
Yeah.
I thought of that, right,
While it's seen it.
Right.
Designated community.
right. So note to self here. All right, we're done, boss.
4.5 planning board notice of public hearing for 5 Turnpike Road. It's for stormwater for parking lot at the apartments. It is Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 7:15 PM at Memorial Halls, 272 Main Street. It's a hybrid meeting, and it's site plan review, special permit and NPDES Phase 2 stormwater management. 5.1 Mass Open Space hosting free webinars through February. MACC also has courses coming up. You can look it up on their website. Items for discussion at the next meeting. Wild and Scenic River Grant.
Continuation of 158 Main.
Yep.
And what's that thing you're doing, Joan? Did you know something like that? Did you know?
Wild and Scenic application.
No, but you said, discuss, did you know, educational materials.
Oh,
Did you
yeah, thank you.
have that?
Yep. Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Right, anything else from anyone? Motion and second, please, to adjourn at 9:34 PM.
Second.
Someone motioned, someone second.
Oh, I thought that was in there. Sorry.
Well, he can, but they typically don't.
So moved.
Okay, so move second.
Savoy, yes.
Peter, yeah.
James Gates, yes.
Pat, General, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.